I actually did a year internship at IBM first, and then that's when I found like I didn't really enjoy. I had the best year ever, but I didn't really enjoy like corporate life too much. And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do after uni, because I don't know if I really. I enjoyed the internship because it was fun, but outside of my friends that I made there, the actual work I was doing and the like politics of a corporate job, I was just like, I'm not too sure if I want to do this. He would be like, I'm not going to buy you that just because everybody has that kind of thing. We don't have to spend money like that. You can just buy this thing. It's the same thing. A bag is a bag. If it was a Nike bag that everybody had, he'll go and buy some other bag. And like, he's like, you don't need to spend that extra £10 because it's Nike. You could just have a bag. And I don't know if I need to spend money on a new car. And I'm wondering why everyone keeps asking me when I'm going to buy a new car. Because I'm like, I mean, it's working. So I don't know why I need to buy a new car. So I don't know. I think because of my older sister, I was already good at like not spending too much. Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, the initial like validation of like out of lots and lots of businesses, like I was recognized as one of like a really promising business and something that's like impactful. So that validation alone was great. But then also some things like we were in the newspaper, we were in Evening Standard.
Welcome back, everybody. In today's podcast, we've got an inspirational person who has started a fantastic business, and you'll get to see one of the products today. I'm really excited for that. She's the founder of Think Pieces Financial. She's passionate about financial education for children, and she was the Access Startup Angel runner-up in 2025. Amazing.
Thank you.
Welcome to the podcast, Christina.
Thanks for having me.
It's all good. That's the LinkedIn intro that what I could find online, basically. Yeah. Do you mind just letting us know about yourself and how you became a founder?
I am a British Ghanaian. I grew up in South London, Mitcham, Pollard's Hill specifically. I went to university of Birmingham, studied accounting and finance. And then I've done like so many different jobs since university. Just so many different. I actually did a year internship at IBM first, and then that's when I found like I didn't really enjoy. I had the best year ever, but I didn't really enjoy like corporate life too much. And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do after uni, because I don't know if I really. I enjoyed the internship because it was fun, but outside of my friends that I made there, the actual work I was doing and the like politics of a corporate job, I was just like, I'm not too sure if I want to do this. But so after uni, I did lots of different things. I did do a grad scheme in local government, but at the same time, I was doing maths tutoring on the side. Then I did lots of other things, ended up at financial education charity. I've always been passionate about that. And then just long story short, I ended up starting my own thing after the charity. So yeah, that's how I've got here today, basically.
Nice. Amazing. Yeah, it can be a bit like joining the corporate world. Some people absolutely love it. Some people are like, not for me. Yeah. But yeah, what a journey. I didn't go to Birmingham Uni. I went to the city of Birmingham. Oh, nice. So yeah, I like it. And I studied business and finance. So we finance guys. I love it. And what is your relationship with money? How did you grow up? And what was your introduction to handling money?
I think everything, all like the traits I have around handling money and spending money and everything like that, I think I got from my older sister. So she was very clued up quite early. She also studied accounting and finance, so it seems like I copied everything she did, but basically she was really intrigued about money early. So she did a lot of like finding out like the best ways to save, just learning lots about money. I think I took everything about my learnings from money from her. Then I also went to study at university as well. I think growing up, one thing in our household was definitely just like my dad would not spend too much on like quote unquote nonsense. Like if we wanted something because it was trending or something like that, he literally would not see the point of spending so much money on something because it was branded, whereas he could go and buy us the same thing, but it was like just some random brand, but it was a lot cheaper basically. So like he would be like, I'm not going to buy you that just because everybody has that kind of thing. We don't have to spend money like that. You can just buy this thing. It's the same thing. A bag is a bag. If it was a Nike bag that everybody had, he'll go and buy some other bag. And like, he's like, you don't need to spend that extra £10 because it's Nike. You could just have a bag. And I think things like that actually at the time were probably a bit annoying, but I think now it's both my sister and I are very like, we do tend to be cautious about not spending just because like, everybody has a new iPhone or everybody has this or this is the new trending thing. Like, I think we're both very much aware of like, actually, no, we could just save money by buying something that's still functional, still does what we need it to do, but just because it's not like the branded version, we don't need to buy it. So I think that's been something that's been throughout my childhood and come into my adulthood life as well.
What an important lesson to learn at that age as well, that you're paying for a brand and that could change it at any moment. A bit of credit to dad for that lesson. And I'm a big sister. So whenever I hear a little sister say, oh, my big sister might have helped me or shaped me or supported me through my journey, I'm like, yes, big sister. It's good to help because look at where you are.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any other siblings?
No, she was my only sister. So,
okay, brilliant. Is there any specific moment for maybe when you were a teenager where you started dealing with money, maybe like credit, for example, or when you went to university? Do you remember? Because that's usually the time where you're handling more money than you did before. How did it feel then?
Yeah, I'd say the first time I handled a large amount of money was definitely university. But before that, similar to my sister, I got a job quite early, like around 16 was my first job. So just being able to earn some money by myself and be a bit more independent and do somewhat what I wanted with that money for myself. It wasn't a lot of money. So, I mean, I don't know where it went to at that time. But it was good to just earn money for myself. I think I really enjoyed having a job really early. And then, the first time handling large amounts of money was definitely university, so getting the loan. But again, I think I was, because of my older sister, I was already good at like not spending too much. So I definitely didn't like waste too much money. I mean, as a student, I probably did spend where I probably didn't need to, but I didn't waste a lot of money.
That's good.
So yeah, I think all of my sister's habits were still like instilled in me at university. So that was quite good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she learned, so she was like, okay, this is what to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
And after you've learned the value from working as well, it feels different. Then, you know how hard it is to then come back.
Yeah.
So, very interesting. Let's get into your business think pieces. So which year did you create the business?
So it's the end of 2023. Was it 2020? Yeah, it's end of 2023. So about a year and a half or so now.
Yeah.
Was it? No, sorry, end of 2024. I keep forgetting the years because we're in 26 now. Sorry. End of 24.
Yes.
Yeah, was when I started.
Okay. Yeah. How does it feel? Does it feel like you're still starting or are you in it now?
It feels like that because it adapts a lot. So even when I first started, it was nothing to do with what I'm doing now. The idea and the impact that I wanted to make through the business is still there, but what exactly I'm doing is changed completely. So, I think it's going to keep changing until it's like I've tested and tried lots of different things and I see what works the best. So yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things as a business owner where you're meant to kind of move really quickly and be flexible. Can you share? Do you mind sharing what it looked like before?
Yeah, of course. So it just started with, so I was already working in financial education space because I worked for a charity and I worked with schools and I was doing a lot of workshops on financial education in school anyway. And so one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to make it quite fun and creative to learn about money as young children. So this is primary school age. And so I thought maybe I could have like some kind of product, game, something that's not a book, because I think there are quite a few books for primary school age that they can learn like really basic concepts of money in a fun way. So I just thought a jigsaw puzzle is quite a fun way for kids to learn. They do a lot of jigsaw puzzles in school and around their age, that's still a fun activity. And maybe I could come up with some illustrations on different financial topics like savings or investing or something and like display it in a fun way on an illustration and then put it on a puzzle, and then kids could like piece together the puzzle and try and learn about really basic concepts while they're doing that. And so that was the initial idea, and I was like, okay, let's try and create some illustrations, put them on a puzzle, and that's the first thing I did. So I was just selling puzzles at that point and I was like talking to parents. I think actually one of the things is one of the workshops we had some parents come in, and parents would sometimes be like, oh, these are great workshops. Do you know of any products outside of workshops that we can like do at home with them and stuff like that? And I think I knew a few books, but I didn't think I knew much else. Like other than a book, I wasn't really sure where to direct them. And so I think that was one of the reasons I was like, oh, what products could be useful or could be fun and creative for kids? So that's where it started. I wasn't doing any workshops of my own. I was working at the charity and doing workshops there. And then I left the charity. I was still just like kind of selling puzzles, but then I was like, I did a workshop at a library with the puzzles. So we had like a puzzle club. And then I think at different stages when I was doing different workshops or like going to libraries here and just explain the puzzle here and doing lots of different things to get the puzzle out there. I would meet parents or I'd meet teachers, and some people would be like, oh, why don't you just do workshops in school like what you're doing in the library, or figure out a way to include the puzzles or include other games or things that you can come up with in workshops, because that would be quite valuable. So then I started doing school workshops, and I think now that is kind of one of the biggest things. So it's like coming up with really fun games to teach kids. So in our workshops, it's all gamified, but they're learning about money through the games, and we use the puzzles as well. So now it's more workshops, and then it is going to go into the app that we're working with schools to develop and test to see if that is something that would be useful for the schools as well. So yeah, there's been a lot of different adaptations. Essentially, we still do use the puzzles as well, but when I first started, I didn't have the idea of like workshops or the app or anything like that. So yeah.
It keeps on evolving.
Yeah, it keeps evolving.
With where the demand is going.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, amazing. So then you mentioned working with schools. How has that been, like entering schools and then teaching finances, but in a fun way?
That's been really cool. I think because it's been very organic. So the first time I got into the schools, because I met someone, he mentioned do some workshops. Actually, my husband for a long time was also like, try and do some workshops maybe. And then this person I met said it as well. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then he was like, my niece is the head teacher of a school in Pollard's Hill. I was like, I grew up in Pollard's Hill. And I didn't even, we weren't in Mitcham or anything. I was like, oh, that's where I grew up. He named the school. I was like, that's literally right behind my house. That's so weird. And then he was like, yeah, my niece is the head teacher. You can speak to her. Spoke to her. And she was like, I can do like a free session maybe, see if the kids like it, see if you think if it's like useful. And then she did. And then she actually mentioned, if you could do continuous workshops of different topics throughout the academic year, like cost it up, send it over, we can see if we can like fit it in the budget. And I was like, sure. So I just like I looked at like, so financial education is currently on the curriculum. It's not compulsory to teach in primary school, I'm talking about. It's not compulsory to teach it, but it's there. And there's also resources like Young Enterprise, which give like a topic list of what children around that age should be learning. So based on like all the research I was doing, I kind of came up with different topics to teach years 4, year 5 and year 6, because I thought, based on my experience as well, the younger year groups, I don't know if it was as impactful when I was doing it before, but year 4, year 5 and year 6, they're definitely already like at that age where they can easily understand some of the basic concepts. So I created something for her, sent it over. I was like, with this work, I costed it based on, I even actually asked her, I said, so when you have normal workshops, how much do you pay? Because I really had like no idea. Yeah. And she did tell me. And so I was like, okay, I'll base it on that. And then costed it up, gave it to her. And she was like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. And I was like, oh, I never even that was so random. Yeah. So then I did it with her, and it's Academy Trust. So a lot of schools are in Academy Trust now. So if one school in the Academy Trust does it, a lot of the other schools tend to like come on board. And then also some of the other schools I'm working with, similar thing. I met someone, they were like, oh, I know this head teacher. Do you want to speak to them, talk to them? They're like, oh yeah, sounds great. Come into the school and do it. So a lot of getting into the school has been just through like being able to be in the right place at the right time, meet the right person. So that's been really like organic up to to this point. I haven't actually tried to market it as such, because I'm in the trial session of, this is the first academic year I'm doing it with the schools. So every school I've got on board now, I'm literally just like trialing it, seeing if it works. Once this year's over, then I can actually like make sure I've got all the resources I need. I know exactly like what is working, what's not working, what to change, etc. And then I can like try and see if there are more schools that would be interested. So yeah, it's been really cool working with the schools so far. Lots of good feedback. It's good to see that the kids are enjoying learning about money. So yeah, I think so far it's been really good. Yeah.
As a business owner, I heard 3 key things there. Like, firstly, talk about your business.
Yeah.
And network. Anywhere, to be honest, if you're proud of what you're doing, of what you're building, then someone might be like, oh, I know somebody. I love how organically it has happened for you. But also you are taking the time to research, and the speed that you're going at feels like it's comfortable for you. But it feels like it's really fast in a good way, but it's happening naturally. So I think there's a lot that other business owners can learn from what you just told us there. It's really, really inspiring. And something also that you mentioned about the children at the age that the years, I think you said
4, 5 and 6.
Yeah, 4, 5 and 6. What kind of money concepts are those children like surprisingly good at understanding.
Good at understanding. So sometimes in a class, there'll be one or two that like just know everything. And I'm like, I don't know where you know this one, but that's great. But overall, I'd say the concept of saving. So like if you say, I'm sure that's probably the biggest thing children will hear maybe. Like just save your money, save your money, save your money. So the concept of like obviously putting some money aside is there. But I guess we get a bit deeper into why, like think about your future. So it's more about like the aspect of like, it's good to enjoy now and like have a balance between enjoying now and also you're going to live for a long time, God willing. So like think about your future at the same time. And even if it's a short-term future or long-term future, like it's good to think about why you are saving and not just saving for anything, because then that's like, it's quite easy to just like use your savings because you're like, what am I saving for? Like, but just like thinking about the goals, what they want to do in the future. These are quite young children. So to be honest, I mean, you guys are young. You might not know what you want to do in 10 years, but just to have always mindset of like, I'm going to enjoy now, but I also need to enjoy the future. So like there's a balance here and that's why I save. And also emergencies will come up in my life and stuff like that. So they are young again. So these concepts are like just to have it in your brain and like start to have these like mindsets. And it might not be right now they're saving for an emergency because obviously they're children. Hopefully their parents or guardians are kind of taking care of emergencies, but just to have the mindsets of why are we saving, the future, goals, those kind of things to start to think about it. But I think they understand the concept of like you put some money aside when you hopefully, I mean, the urge to spend probably all of it is, I'm sure, in what they want to do, but they've probably been told quite a lot, save your money, save your money. Okay. So yeah, I think that's one topic.
I mean, even as adults,
yeah, exactly.
Us could learn from that.
Yeah,
thinking about future you, and if just remembering what you said in terms of what your dad used to say to you, and at that time it was like, but later on, that seed was planted, and it's actually so you're planting loads of seeds right now, which maybe now they don't fully, but then they will. Having financial confidence from such a young age, do you believe that it's going to change that generation's kind of financial well-being when they've grown up?
I would hope so. I mean, it's so hard to track the education they're getting at 8 to 11 into their adulthood, especially now, it's just kind of started. But the hope is that these are planting things, like we've said before, the mindset is starting to be planted. And there are lots of statistics about your money habits or your habits in general start to form around the age of 7, including how you see money and your money habits as well. So those things are starting to form, even if they don't have large amounts of money to handle or anything like that. It's the habits, the mindsets and stuff that are starting to form that hopefully will follow them into adulthood. So like you said, with my dad, I think at the time when he wouldn't buy like any branded things or anything that he would just be like, I can get it cheaper if I get this. That has definitely stayed with me because right now I will literally see things like people will even sometimes say to like my car, for example, is so old, but it runs perfectly well. It's very functional. Yes. And people are like, oh, when are you going to get a new car? But I'm just like, until it stops working, I don't know if I need to spend money on a new car. And I'm wondering why everyone keeps asking me when I'm going to buy a new car. Because I'm like, I mean, it's working. So I don't know why I need to buy a new car. So I don't know. But I think that is because of my dad's way of thinking that I'm like that. Because I'm like, if I don't need to spend the money, I don't know, like, why would I spend it kind of thing? Yeah.
That is the biggest lesson.
Yeah.
And I think people should stop putting pressure on other people because it's like, hold on a minute, I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do with my money. If you can give me a new car.
That's the thing. I'm always like, if anyone wants to give me one, I'll take a new car, but I don't need to buy it. I don't know, like.
It's the society that we're in. So I'm glad that you're like, oh, excuse me, I'm not going to fall.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. I am keen for us to showcase your product. So you brought the puzzle for us today. So then it is never too early to start planning for your retirement. And that's where our sponsor, PensionBee, comes in. PensionBee is on a mission to build pension confidence and create a world where everyone can enjoy a pension. So whether you've moved around jobs a lot and are looking to consolidate your pensions, one thing I've really come to appreciate is how important retirement planning actually is. My parents are now at pension age, and watching them navigate the complex world of pensions, retirement plans has really been eye-opening for me. It's been a real reminder that this stuff doesn't magically arrange itself when it's time to retire. It's never too early to start thinking about your future, so that's where our sponsor, PensionBee, comes in. PensionBee is on a mission to build pension confidence and create a world where everybody can enjoy a happy retirement. So whether you've moved jobs a few times and are looking to consolidate your pension because your pensions are scattered around all over the place, or you're self-employed and need a flexible pension that lets you contribute more when things are going well and less when things aren't, PensionBee really makes it simple. You can bring your pensions together into one easy to manage plan so you can see everything clearly in one place and feel more in control of your future. Don't worry, signing up is really easy. We've put a link in the show notes. It's quick and it's straightforward. So if retirement feels far away for you, trust me, it comes around so much quicker than we think. So take control of your retirement with PensionBee. And just a little reminder, when investing, your capital is at risk.
So I have more puzzles, but these are just two that I brought in. So I mentioned I wanted to have like illustrations of really basic money concepts. So this one's actually just a general, it's called Money Talks. So this generally has things about earning money, saving money, what you can do at a bank, you can borrow, you can save. People might borrow money to buy a new house. So this is a general thing. So when the kids are kind of like piecing together the pieces, they might be like, oh, we need to find the dentist when this little money character is talking about people earn money through different jobs, and we need to find the piece that links with it, for example. So yeah, this one is a very general Money Talks because the little coins are talking about different aspects of money essentially. But then there are more puzzles which are focused on a particular topic. So for example, this one is called Income Tax Bake. But this is basically really basic concept around income tax, because a lot of people say until maybe they get their first job, or even when they get their first job, they still don't really get the concept of tax. And I think to get it at a basic age, it's just good knowledge just to understand. So this one is literally just about, you know, when you work in lots of different jobs, or even if you're probably maybe renting out a spare bedroom or renting out your house or something like that, you might have to pay some income tax. Obviously, it depends. But that money is then going to the government. And why is it going to the government? It's really important for the kids, I think, to understand, because it's like, why would we just give money to the government? And I don't know if anyone will explain that before or at any point. And it's like, so they are genuinely like, why am I giving money to the government? So this is just explaining they are putting that money into some of the public services that you might use, you know, NHS, police services, etc. So this is really, again, when they're putting the pieces together, they're looking for, we're looking for government spending, or who has a piece that connects to government spending, or something on the puzzle. This also says a percentage goes to at year 5, year 6, the kids are learning about percentages. So it's kind of tying in also with some of their maths lessons. So yeah, it's just to help them piece together an illustration that once they've got the full picture, they can understand a bit more about this particular topic, like income tax. But there are a few other topics as well that we have puzzles for.
I love that. I learned when I was maybe post-uni about what's the tax system?
Yeah, exactly.
All I knew was they should not be taxing me. Yeah. But I knew like I need to claim back the tax that they might have accidentally taken from me. Yeah. So to be learning it at such a young age and then fully understanding it, it will help for when they come into like voting for stuff at a young age as well. When you're a teenager, they've got the right kind of concepts, the basics already.
Foundation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, so I love them both. Which one should we play today?
We can do the income tax one.
Okay.
Yeah?
Brilliant.
Cool. So usually if I am in a library workshop, it will take the kids about an hour and a half to do this. Okay. So we definitely won't get through the whole thing today. But
so you get the little picture so you can see what it's meant to look like. Hopefully we can zoom in.
Yeah, not to worry. It's just have the vibes echo. Yeah, because like we've shown. So yeah, brilliant.
Cool. So do you want me, how do I do the mic? Should I move it here or should we?
So what we'll do is, I know, but we're not gonna get far, but I think it's still nice and interactive. So we'll kind of like do question and then kind of lean in, do a little bit, and then back to the questions. Yeah. So maybe let's go back to the questions, and then I wanted to ask about parents and how they feel. You shared a little bit before when you were doing the workshops in the libraries that, you know, it was positively received. Do parents feel like they're also learning a little bit from doing these puzzles?
Yeah, the workshops were really good. We had parents in the libraries. Parents have to stay with their kids, so they're getting involved as well. And a lot of them, again, the question is more so like, what else is there? What else can I do? Like, is there anything else? I think a lot of parents are looking for like resources and things they can do with their kids that are interactive around like financial education and financial skills. So yeah, I think that's been really a good, like, even part of my research in terms of what is the interest for learning about things like this for kids. So yeah, no, it was really good to get a lot of parents involved.
So are they available still for parents to buy on your website?
The puzzles, yeah, they are.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Because yes, you're going into the schools at the moment, but then they can
They can
do it
do the
at
puzzles,
home.
yeah.
Oh, amazing. I'm definitely going to be putting a link so that people can play. And what are simple ways that parents can start money conversations at home, even if they don't feel confident themselves?
I think there are now a lot of, I would say even for myself, I'm not a parent just yet, but if there are things that I'm not too comfortable at, first of all, I think for parents, there's lots of resources for adults to learn about certain areas of finances, whether it's investing or whatever it is. I think there's lots of resources for parents to learn themselves, and then be able to have like those really small conversations around the house once they know. Because teaching kids, I think from what I found is just like, you can have the knowledge, but just teach them in the most basic way. Like even as someone who like used to love maths at school, maths is my favorite subject still. And I just thought like the way sometimes I think people teach things, it's like you're just teaching it so complicated. I don't know if that's a word, but it's just so complicated the way you're teaching it. I think it could be, everything can be made so much more simple. So if there's certain like words or certain phrases, like I think it's easy to break it down. I don't know how to explain how, but I just think just use like normal words. A lot of things in finance, there's a lot of like jargon and stuff like that. When I was, again, at university, I used to just think, I'm sure you could say this in a more simple way. I feel like you're just saying this to just for the sake of it. So yeah, just to make it complicated. I just think, there's so many concepts that you could just break down and make it easy to understand. But also, I guess, getting them involved in like daily things like going shopping, checking prices, like things like my dad would do. Like sometimes I used to be, again, it'd be like weird because my dad would maybe try and say 4p at Asda, like, oh, this one is. And I was like, I mean, we're saving 4p. I don't know if it's that deep. But it was interesting to see that he'd be comparing a lot and he'd get us involved in like comparing and like just involved in like any kind of like small, not crazy money making decisions, but things that like we could maybe understand and help out with or something like that. So yeah, I think things like getting them involved was useful for when my dad, when we were growing up.
I love that because then maybe when you're asking for the new Nike shoes or something, you're like, well, this is how much. You'll fully understand that we need to go buy food.
Yeah.
Now you know kind of like roughly how much that's going to be.
Exactly.
Because you're involved.
Yeah.
I used to, when I was younger, at some stage we would just be told, oh yeah, it's just a note because I said so. And at it changed. I don't know why. I should ask my parents when they started to explain stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really fully appreciate it, like being treated like someone that could understand.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think at whatever age, as you said, it's good for the parents to just kind of give children the benefit of the doubt and then explain it to them because it's going to help later on.
Yeah, definitely. Whys. Oh my God, the kids are always saying why this, why. So like, I mean, sometimes it is really useful for them to know why. Otherwise, they're just like, you're just telling me to do something and there's no why. Like, why am I doing that? So I think that is a really good point as well. So as much as I can in the classrooms, I try and get to the why when it gets to like, I don't know at this point. But yeah, for the most part, telling them why is really useful.
How do I'm guessing a puzzle pro.
I do like puzzles, yes.
Yes. So do we start with the edges?
Yeah, usually if I'm with the kids, start with the edges, try and put the same colours together. This one's a bit harder because a lot of the colours are blue, different versions of blue. But yeah, starting with the edges and then looking at the puzzle. What am I looking for? Government spending is here. So all of the government spending on one side, all of the jobs that you could do in one part. So yeah, putting the things together.
I really love that. There's also the types of jobs. This is quite good because then young people can start to think, oh, what type of job do I want? They might not have come across a couple of them.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, I'm just going to find some edges.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so in terms of building the business, going back to that a little bit, because congratulations for being runner-up for the AXA. I know there's thousands of business owners that apply for it, so amazing. And that should be some validation, right, in terms of what you're building. What have you learned so far in the past, couple of years from building a business?
What have I learned so far? I think networking is really important. So a lot of like opportunities and things have come from just like knowing someone because I went to this thing or someone else has mentioned do this. Even when I was doing the library stuff, someone sent me something from the library to get some grant funding, which I got in the end. So like a lot of things have come because like I've just been speaking to loads of people and they've been like, oh, I remember you're doing this thing and this is available. Do you want to try this? So yeah, networking has been really useful. As many people as possible because you never know. Like lots of people, most people have been very supportive and very like, oh, if anything comes up, I'll mention you or I'll send you something or whatever. So that's been really useful.
That's really good. And from that award as well, has anything come up from it? Because a lot of people do ask, should I be applying to get grants? Should I be applying for awards? Has anything positive come out of it?
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, the initial like validation of like out of lots and lots of businesses, like I was recognized as one of like a really promising business and something that's like impactful. So that validation alone was great. But then also some things like we were in the newspaper, we were in Evening Standard, and that of course a lot of exposure meant there was more interest in the products and the workshops and stuff like that. So just I think exposure has really helped because at the moment I'm not really doing any outward marketing, which is probably quite bad. I probably need to start thinking about my marketing. But when I get things like that, it is a lot of exposure, and so it helps bring eyes on what I'm doing, which is really useful.
Yeah.
Really useful.
There's a healthy mix, I think, in terms of you driving out kind of the marketing and this organic way that's been working.
Yeah.
It's been working. So maybe after the research phase that you're currently in, then it could be like, okay, now we're doing the outward marketing.
Yeah.
Which already you're starting off at 10 rather than 0.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. And you mentioned that there's an app that you're working on. Please talk us through.
Yeah, sure. So with the schools, so what I'm doing financial education for specifically primary schools has actually come along at a really good time where the government announced last year that it will become compulsory for all schools, including primary schools, to teach financial education. And that's going to start in 2028, so in about 2.5 years' time. So actually, at this moment in time, one of the things I noticed when I was in the financial education charity is a lot of schools actually really value financial education, but some schools feel like they don't have like the tools or the teachers aren't equipped to teach financial education in the most like valuable way. So like it might be done here and there, or, it's like I said, it's kind of on the curriculum a little bit. But it's like, how do I actually make sure that I don't want it to just be tick box? I actually want the kids to like get some proper financial education. So one of the things alongside the workshops I've asked some of the schools is, would an app be useful? Because there's a mixture of, actually one of the reasons I even did the puzzles was with kids these days, obviously they do have so much screen time and they have a lot of apps. There's so many apps and stuff like that. So I think what I started with was like puzzles. It's a screen-free way for them to enjoy. Workshops is great because they physically were playing physical games, like old school games that we used to play, and they're learning like that. But at the same time, it's like we do have to move with the times a bit as well, and something that can be impactful at a better rate than me coming in, because I can only come in so many times in the year. An app might be the way to kind of bridge that. So I did ask a few of the schools, I said, would a tool that would also kind of like in between the workshops help them reinforce the learning that they've already got in the workshops and also add to it in their own time, because they can do it whenever, would that be useful? And a lot of the schools said, actually, yeah, we'd want to try something like that. So what we're doing is we have got an MVP that we are going to start trying with the schools this month, actually.
Yes.
Well, we're in February. I don't know when this airs. We're going to trial it with the schools this month until the end of the academic year. And essentially the app there's lots of things on the app. One is there's going to be a few activities and like learning zones where they can kind of reinforce what we're teaching in the workshops. But also there's some quizzes, there's some games, activities for them to like practice their learning. But then also there's like areas where they can also practice like real world decision making. So they'll be able to kind of earn some virtual money and do lots of different things with their virtual money in the app as well. So there's a lot more to the app as well, but I just want to get to the point where we're testing this MVP, and then with the schools we already have on board. And then I think there'll be a lot more information about the app for like when it's ready, hopefully the tests go well, and if it is ready to like go further than the schools we're just working with right now. But yeah, the idea behind the app is just to reinforce the learning in a fun way. Again, the whole vibe of Think Pieces is to teach money to those younger age kids in a fun and creative way. So the app is definitely not going to be boring. There's a lot of creative elements to it. So the app developers I'm working with, I actually met them at like we both did like a creative accelerator program. And so I actually really like working with them because all the ideas they come up with as well is like really creative. The app is really fun. Like it's something I would have loved to have had when I was a child. So yeah, we're going to test that with the kids we already have, see if that, works well. And if it's actually helping them learn post the workshops that we do. And then that's something that will be added into what we offer for the schools. Because I think speaking to them as well, they've said the mix of workshops and an app would be a perfect way to teach financial education to their kids. And if it comes that, in 2028, it will be compulsory for them to do it anyway. Yeah. There's an option for whether they want to have some workshops or want to just have the app or want to just have workshops and no app. Because one school has actually said that they just prefer to just have workshops. There's too many screens, which makes sense, to be fair. So yeah, there's a mixture of different learning styles. Schools prefer one thing or another thing. So to have multiple offers, I think for the schools would be really useful. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's that adapting as well, spotting that, okay, there's more that we could be offering and scaling as well.
Yeah,
always
exactly.
Need to think about how you could scale.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll do just a little bit more and then we'll go into innovation and then takeaways and future and then we'll close it up. Hey, so in terms of the future and thinking about what's coming next, I know I completely appreciate that you are in the testing phases and you're putting things out, and I really love how measured you are on this journey. Have you thought about the next 5 or 10 years, the end goal for Think Pieces?
Yeah, I've had some thoughts, definitely. So I think right now I'm focused on primary school children. One reason for that actually is because I used to work in the financial education space charity-wise, and I think a lot of things are directed at secondary school, which I guess makes sense because at that age they'll be starting their maybe first part-time jobs and essentially moving towards that age. They probably do have some money already that they handle and things like that. So it makes sense. But I think because the whole your money habits start to form early, your mindset is forming at that age. That's why I've focused on primary school children and because I wanted to make it fun and creative. So it has started at primary school. I think essentially what I'm testing all works and it's a useful way for schools to teach financial education. I would love to be able to expand some of the tools and resources into the secondary school, maybe even up to university levels to see if it would make sense. And I guess that means like it's a pathway throughout the whole of a young person's life to learning about money in an engaging way. That means that when they finish university or whatever it is, they're starting their adulthood life with like, I've been learning about money since I was in primary school. And I now, a lot of people leave university like being in overdraft or not really having any ideas around like what to expect when they start working and stuff like that. I think to kind of change that around and let a young person start their adulthood life actually being like, I've learned about money throughout my whole journey and now I actually am really clued up, I think that would be the end goal. Like that would be the impact that I would love to make on a long-term basis. But yeah, it'd take a while to get there. But that would be essentially what I would love to get to.
Well, you started at the right place, I think, when they're younger, and then you can go up rather than the other way around.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the mistakes, or maybe a lot of the learnings that, you know, older, young adults, it might be too late to try and fix a few things. So yeah. Oh, amazing. So that's where we're going.
Yeah, hopefully.
And it's great that actually it's now compulsory. So you're already prepared for a product as well. To then offer up to schools. So I can't wait to see where this all goes. I really can't. Is there one money lesson that every child should learn?
I think there's so many different things, but I do think the whole idea of thinking about balance between life now and life in the future is a big one, I think, to just be aware of at any age, literally at any age, at my age now, at a older adult's age, like any age. Is like, I hope, God willing, I will live for a long time, and like I'm going to enjoy my life now, but I need to think about my future as well. So whether that's like, what can I invest in for my future? What can I save up for? Or like, how much money do I need to do the certain things that I want to do in 10 years time? Like those things, that I think that's been really valuable for me, like planning ahead. And like, so maybe sometimes it's a bit extra because I'm like, oh, I know I wanted to, before I got married, before I got proposed to, but I knew he was going to propose, but I was like, okay, I want to get married this year. So I was even like to him before he proposed. I was like, I think we might need to start saving for the wedding because we want to get married in this time. I don't know if we want to, I mean, it was a conversation. We already knew we were going to get engaged. It wasn't like I'm being extra, but maybe it was a bit extra. But I just like to plan ahead and be like, I want to do this in 2 years' time. So like, how do we prepare for it now? And like, so just, I think has been really valuable for me, like thinking about your future as well as like your now. You don't want to just put everything towards your future, obviously, because you need to enjoy your life in the present day as well. But I think that's been an important lesson for me. I don't know if it's the main one. I'm sure there's lots of things kids should probably have in mind. But for me, I think that has been really useful throughout my adult life and throughout childhood as well.
I'll say it again. We definitely need to learn that lesson too. Yeah. Okay, and what advice would you give to adults who feel that they're bad with money because they never learned as a child?
I think similar to earlier. So again, even me, I'm not like, there's certain things I really need to learn a lot more about. And actually one thing I am doing now is I'm studying to become a qualified financial advisor. So I'm doing my diploma in regulated financial planning, and learning has just really opened my mind. I actually don't think I'll go into that industry at all, but I think just the learning about it has been really useful. I say all that to say I think there's always things you can learn. So if you feel like you're bad at something in particular, that we are so lucky that in this day and age, the resources out there are like immense and for free as well. Like a lot of things you don't have to pay for. Some things you can pay for later on if you want to. I mean, there's all sorts of things, but I would just say there's so many free resources right now that you can use to learn about. If it's investing you want to learn more about, I need to learn lots more in particular about certain investments and things like that. Like you can go on YouTube, you can find a podcast, you can, there's people, I mean, you do have to be careful because obviously not all the information you hear, you still have to do your own research and everything like that. You can't just listen to what someone says and take that, you know, but there are a lot of resources basically. So if you want to research something and learn about something, you can do. So I don't think it's ever too late to like learn something new. There's still loads of things that people don't know at lots of ages that they're going to have to go and learn about. So yeah, I just don't think it's too late to learn. You can learn in this day and age quite easily.
Yeah, you're so right. It's never too late. It's one of those taglines because a lot of people would just say, oh, I'm just bad with money, or you know, I should have learned it when I was a child. Start now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Amazing. And how can communities better support what you're doing and your initiatives? How can people support you?
So I think supporting, do you mean like think pieces or just the idea around financial education?
I would say think pieces because there's a specific way of how you are, you know, attacking the problem.
Yeah. So I think if there are any schools, if any parents have children that go to schools that they think this could be useful for, I am doing more library workshops. I live now basically in Croydon. So I'm going to be doing some library workshops at Croydon Library. Those are free. So for some of the parents, if they are in that area, that's something to look out for. And to get a taste of, actually some of the app trials will be with parents at the library workshops. So yeah, I think a lot of just like recommendations to schools, if there are any schools that you think could benefit from the workshops or potentially the app in the future, that would be a useful way.
Currently in Croydon, it will hopefully be countrywide at some
So
stage.
the schools, I don't just work with schools in Croydon. I work with schools like around London.
Yes.
But the workshops, at the moment in Croydon.
Amazing. And how can people find you?
So we're on Instagram at Think Pieces UK. Website is thinkpieces.co.uk. And LinkedIn as well, Think Pieces. And then myself, Christina Lartey, although that is not my married name, so it might change. But I got married like 2 years ago. I haven't changed my name, which is just a long process. So Christina Lartey, or it is actually Christina Bamper-Addo on Instagram, but Christina Lartey on LinkedIn. So
we'll put the link.
I need to sort that name change out. It's very confusing, even for me.
We could go down that road in terms of discussing that, but I don't think we have time today. Okay, so final question. If money education had a personality, what would you want it to feel like for children?
I think engaging. So something that the children want to do, basically, that they're interested in. I think a lot of kids actually are interested in like life skills in general, because when I was a maths tutor, there's definitely kids that enjoyed maths and it was great to teach them, but there's also kids that I understand like really hated maths, and like they're literally like, when am I going to use this? And I can't really answer that question. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know if you are going to use this. So it's like they would rather actually learn about things that are going to be useful for them in their life. So I want it to be engaging. I want it to be like, I'm going to need this when I become an adult. So I actually really want to be engaged in this. So I'd say engaging, because I want them to be wanting to learn about it.
Oh, thank you for today. I feel like I learnt loads and I feel inspired by your story. And I can see this going really well, and it's going to be a big organization, I feel like. You definitely have our support, whatever we can do to help, and people hopefully will go and buy a puzzle.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
It's okay. That is all for us today, guys. Join us next week for some more seeds to sow. And please remember to support us by following and leave a rating on our show on whichever platform you're listening to us from. To those watching on YouTube, please leave a like and a subscribe to our channel. All of your support goes a long way. Thank you so much for joining us today. And remember, keep shining.